If you've been paying attention to the news lately, you've probably seen the same headline come up again and again. Government debt is rising. And depending on who's talking about it, it's either a ticking time bomb or something you shouldn't worry about at all. The truth is, like most things in finance, it sits somewhere in the middle. So let's talk about it clearly. No politics or dramatic predictions, just what it is, why it's happening, and what it can mean for you. First, government debt simply means the total amount of money a government has borrowed over time. And that number has been growing for years. But why is that? It's because governments spend more than they bring in. That gap gets filled by borrowing. Sometimes that borrowing is intentional, like during a recession, when the goal is to support the economy. Other times, it's just the result of ongoing spending commitments, things like healthcare, defense, infrastructure, and interest on existing debt. And that last part matters more than most people realize. When that debt gets large enough, the interest on that debt becomes a major expense on its own. It's not just what was borrowed, it's the cost of carrying it. Therefore, the question becomes, does that affect you? Indirectly, yes, but not always the way people assume. One of the most common concerns is inflation. The idea is that if debt gets too high, governments may be tempted to inflate it away, meaning they allow inflation to rise so the real value of that debt shrinks over time. There's some truth to that. Inflation does reduce the real burden of debt, but it's not a switch that can just be flipped without consequences. Higher inflation affects everything, like consumer prices, wages, interest rates, and it's not something policymakers can control perfectly. In fact, one of the more immediate ways rising debt shows up is through interest rates. When governments borrow heavily, they issue more bonds, and those bonds have to attract buyers. One way to do that is by offering higher interest rates. Over time, that can push rates higher across the broader economy. You see that in mortgages, car loans, and businesses borrowing. Higher rates slow things down. They make borrowing more expensive, which can cool off spending and investments. That's not always a bad thing, but it does change the environment people are operating in. Then there's the question of taxes. If debt continues to rise, at some point, governments have to deal with it. That can come through a mix of things: spending adjustments, economic growth, inflation, or yes, higher taxes. No one knows exactly how that balance will play out, but it's reasonable to expect that future policy decisions could impact tax rates in some form. When people hear all of this, the natural reaction is to ask, what should I do differently? And this is where it's important to not overreact. Because while government debt is a real issue at the macro level, it's not something you can control. And more importantly, it's not something that should cause you to abandon a solid financial strategy. What you can control is how you position yourself within that environment. If inflation runs higher at times, owning assets that have the potential to grow, like businesses, real estate, or diversified investments, have historically helped offset that. If interest rates stay elevated, being thoughtful about debt in your own life becomes more important. And if tax policy changes over time, having flexibility in how and when you can draw income can matter. These are planning considerations and not reasons to panic, because here's the bigger point. Large economic trends always sound overwhelming when you zoom in too close. Government debt, inflation, interest rates. These are big, complex systems, and they change over time. But your financial success isn't built on predicting those systems perfectly. It's built on making consistent, disciplined decisions within them. Save regularly and stay diversified. Invest with a long-term perspective. Being aware of taxes without trying to outguess every policy shift. Those things matter more than trying to react to a headline, and history tends to support that. We've gone through periods of high debt before. Different levels, different circumstances, but the same underlying concern. And through all of it, markets have continued to function, economies have grown, and long-term investors who stay disciplined have generally been rewarded. That doesn't mean there aren't challenges ahead. It just means those challenges are part of the landscape and not the end of the road. So yes, government debt is rising. It's worth understanding, it's worth paying attention to at a high level, but it's not something that should knock you off course. If anything, it's a reminder of something more important. You don't need to control the economy to build a solid financial future. You just need a plan that can work within it. If this helped you think more clearly about a topic that often gets overcomplicated, consider subscribing. I share straightforward financial guidance designed to help you make better decisions and stay focused on what actually matters, because big economic trends will always be there. The key is making sure they don't distract you from the plan that's meant to carry you forward.